All right, ladies and gentlemen, it is the Class 5A District 2 matchup between the Guthrie Blue Jays, 7-0 on the season, versus the number one rated Carl Albert Titans. Without a break from a bye week through week 0, they are a perfect 8-0. And captains now are making their way to midfield, where we will be doing the perfunctory coin toss and knowing who will get the ball to start the first half versus the second half. You're watching Prep Nation TV. Four captains for Carl Albert. My view is blocked of Guthrie making their way to the field. I'll let you know how many they have forthcoming here. Looks like we have got potentially 5 players. Correction, 7.
Ladies and gentlemen, as the captains get ready to approach the center of the field for the coin toss, we'd like to recognize our officials for tonight's game. Referee Mark Clark, umpire Hank Reeves, line judge Bob Steckel, head linesman Rick Morales, and back judge Logan Steckel.
It's going to be a tale of contrast, that's for sure. Number one rated offense in football, Carl Abbott Titans versus the number one rated defense. Guthrie has given up 3 total points the entire season combined. 3 points in 7 games, 6 shutouts, and obviously a field goal in one of the games. So officially it'll be 4-4 for the captains, even though 7 made their way out to the field. Guthrie has won the coin toss.
The Blue Jays have won the toss.
They will defer. So they will be on the field first. It'll be Carl Albert with the ball. And we will be moments off from your kickoff here. Carl Albert, Guthrie, PNT game of the week coming up.
Carl Albert will receive from the south goalpost.
We'll see who makes the actual entrance on the field first. It'll be either Titans or Blue Jays. And here come the number one rated Carl Albert Titans. And you know what time it is now? And here come the number 2 rated Guthrie Blue Jays. Well, we did everything a little early here, folks, and so it's kind of one of those anticlimactic moments. Teams do the coin toss, run out on the field. We have that done, and we still are not started with any player on the field right now. So it is 6:59. We are 1 minute from the original kickoff. Hopefully the teams will make their way, and here comes Guthrie as I say that now. As I stated, Guthrie a perfect 7-0 on the season. Victors over Ponca City 40-0, Woodward 69-0, Duncan 65-0, Tuttle 20-3, Piedmont 35-0, Bishop McGinnis 20-0, and Southeast 68-0. Carl Albert undefeated likewise over Coweta 43-20 over Muskogee 56-14, Elk City 58-9, Eisenhower 70-0, Shawnee 76-0, Southeast 49-7 over Bishop McGinnis. So Guthrie wants to see what Carl Albert is going to throw at them early on. They win the coin toss and defer.
Ball started right at the 36-yard line.
It'll be 1st and 10, Carl Albert, 11:56 to go. Barry slows it down. Looks like he's going to make an audible call. Shifts back into a shotgun formation. Fix, pulls back, goes route, deep, overthrows. Second down, once again, passes over slot route. Not much doing. Guthrie meets them and drops them. 40-second play clock we're dealing with. It's going to be a third down. 3rd and 3, 43-yard line. Quarterback keeps it, runs, breaks, other side. He's going to get the first down and more. Up the field, Carl Albert for the first down of the game, and it's a big one. It'll be 1st and 10 at the 37-yard line. Guthrie yet to give up a touchdown on the season. Will this be the drive that streak comes to a snap and a conclusion after 28 consecutive quarters without a score? Correction, without a touchdown. He rolls. Ball is all the way toward the end zone. Drops it, as you can see.
Pass intended for Haynes, incomplete. Williams on the coverage brings up second down to the Titans.
All right, quarterback pulls back, fires over to the slot route, and it is a short gain, nothing doing. Each team doing a little jawing at the line of scrimmage. So back-to-back third downs for Carl Albert. 2.5-minute drive so far. And it's going to be a 5-yard penalty against the Titans. Doesn't realize they'll stop. So they'll bring it all the way back to the 35-yard line. That should pull it back to the 40. It'll make it third and 13.
All start against the Titans. Brings up first down. Carl Albert.
Still waiting for him to update just to make sure I got it right. Yep, that is called. 10:06 remains here in the first quarter. And Sperry drops back under pressure, fires on the one hop. Ball is incomplete. It'll be a fourth down. Carl Albert and a vaunted defense for Guthrie holds after giving up a big run play on the bootleg by Kevin Sperry Jr. It'll be a punt coming up for Carl Albert. Not used to that. It's always interesting to see. I've dubbed this the irresistible force versus the immovable object. Something's got to go. Somebody's always got to go. So far, Guthrie showing themselves to be every bit a top number one defense in all classes. Oh, man, that one goes all the way into the end zone.
Now goes into the end zone for a touchback. Blue Jays take over, first and 10. At the 20-yard line. 9:35 left in the first quarter.
Jumbo package for the Blue Jays. Handoff, run right. That's up midfield. First down for the Blue Jays. They return the favor against Carl Albert. Both teams have had success on running off tackles, so keep an eye on that throughout the progression of the game. 9:25 remains here in the first quarter.
First and 10 for the Blue Jays.
Ends off again. This one, no doing.
From that right past the line of scrimmage for no gain. Williams and James on the stop for the Titans.
I'd like to thank Katie's Diner here in Guthrie and La Florencia Mexican Restaurant in Midwest City. Hands it off, jet sweep, met by two tacker backers. Looked to be a safety that flexed on the coverage with one of the linebackers, and they meet him with a rude welcome. So Interesting to see what will happen here. Both teams back-to-back opportunities, double digits on third down. It was 3rd and 13 for Carl Albert, 3rd and 11 now for Guthrie. Each has the one first down. So right now, based upon position of the ball, Carl Albert with the advantage in yards gained. See if Guthrie can be the first team to convert two off the mark. Wobbles and waffles. So both quarterbacks under duress on 3rd and large, unable to deliver, and it'll be another punt back to back for the teams. Looks like we have a substitution glitch here, maybe coming to the point of a timeout. And here we go. Finally get the 11th, and it is going to result in a timeout, Guthrie. So it looks like keeps turning his back to me. I think number 40 was either supposed to come on the field. There's still 11 in the huddle, so I'm not sure if he was supposed to substitute for one, but doesn't like the game package, I guess, for the punt formation. So Guthrie will be the first team to call a timeout here. 7:50 remains in the first quarter. Ball at the 37-yard line. High snap. Controls it. Kick is good, actually. The angle of it is where nobody can get to it, so that's going to have the maximum roll. So ends up being a bad thing, good thing scenario for Guthrie. We go from the 37-yard line on the Guthrie side. It's going to be pretty close to that for Carl Albert to start the game again. So they've had good field position, both touches. 36-yard line. Wow, 37 to 36. So didn't quite get the roll that I thought he was going to get. So it hops out of bounds. So back-to-back start. Sperry fakes, hands off, and he is tackled at the line of scrimmage. No gain.
Robinson, the ball carrier. Braxton and Varnell and on the stop brings up second down for the Titans.
Quick snap off the mark again. So far, Guthrie is really stymieing Carl Albert's offensive schemes. They're getting plays off, but the passes are just high or hiding, and defensive pressure already paying dividends. 3rd and 10 now. Solo backfield. Sperry drops, rolls under pressure again. All of the Kings men cannot put the horse back together again. Another incomplete pass, and it is back to back stops for Guthrie. Carl Albert will punt. And so we'll see if the Blue Jays can do better with their second touch. Very impressive defensive performance thus far for Guthrie. Their number one rated defense as advertised. And Carl Albert unable thus far to get much more than a bootleg quarterback keeper and then one pass completion.
Washington for the punt.
And he blocked it. There you go, folks. Guthrie with a huge play. Going to set them up first and goal unless they scored it. Trying to see if it's spotted inside the 5. Looks like it is going to be a first and goal for Guthrie. If that's not inside the 5, it's pretty close to it. It is going to be a massive, massive advantage for Guthrie here early on.
The ball is spotted right at the 4-yard line. First and goal.
First and goal, Guthrie at the 4.
Harper with the carry.
Well, the first big play of the game works to the advantage of the hometown Guthrie Blue Jays. The second and goal, ball at the 2, so all he's got to do is trim the distance in half again. Massive play on the block, and it sets up Guthrie for the quarterback keeper. He's going to be very close. Scores a touchdown, Guthrie. For the first score of the game, Guthrie gets on the board and takes the lead. Carl Albert. Both of these teams have played in front of every team they've played this season. So this is the first time that Carl Albert has trailed in any of their first 8 games, plus this 9th one. And the extra point is good. Make it 7-0 Guthrie. You're watching Rep Nation TV. Game of the week, showcasing the number 1 rated Carl Albert Titans versus the number 2 rated Guthrie Blue Jays.
Boy, is the kick out for the Blue Jays.
Interesting kicking style.
Washington with the return.
Pretty much straight legged on the kick. Didn't take a run at it or an angle or curve. But this game's physical so far. Guthrie is content to limit plays to inside coverage. By that, they're dropping back and forcing Sperry to find an open slot receiver or run toward the defenders, not past them. And early on, multiple chances for Carl Albert to try to establish the run game. Thus far, that has not come to fruition for the vaunted Titan offense. It's 5:58 to go here in the first quarter. Quick snap, pulls back. Nothing doing on the run. They do not get them on the misdirection play. Not fooled.
Robinson, the ball carrier. Touchdown.
Quarterback drops, fakes again to throw, and it is another rush, and boy, they lift him off the ground.
Robinson, the ball carrier. Maloney on the stop brings up third down from Titans.
So back to back to back drives for Carl Albert. It is third down for the Titans. This one a manageable 3, though. And they're not going to get it again.
Robinson, the ball carrier. Straight up the middle. Met by a host of Blue Jays. Wyden on the tackle. Brings up first and 10 to the Titans.
Wow, they're going to give it to him. It did not look like he got 3 yards on that play. 4:20 remains in the first quarter. First and 10 for Carl Albert. Perry carries it out to midfield. Quick shot, drops it again, down, no gain, and actually a loss, almost a turnover. So we'll see if it moves them back a couple of yards there. It was 2nd and 3. It's going to make it 3rd and 7. So I don't know if there's some maybe condensation on the balls, but miscue on the punt, and then also now on a handoff. Spree rolls to his right, keeps it, and they just crash into the quarterback. Well, 3 touches. Looks to be 3 punts for Carl Albert. So far, Guthrie winning the battle on the trenches and interior line. The quarterback hasn't really had the opportunity to really test their secondary much. There's been a couple of throws, one in the end zone, notably that was overthrown, another one over toward about the 15-yard line on the Guthrie side that just kind of sailed wide.
False start against the Titans.
Another penalty against Carl Albert. Not the best start for a game I've seen them play. So it's going to be a 4th and 15 now with 2:17 to go. These are the kinds of games that test your mettle, prove rankings. I know people constantly gripe about media and people ranking teams, and they're not really as good as they are, or they're better than they're not ranked, that type of thing. These are the only kinds of markers that you really have to see who is number 1. When it's undefeated 1, undefeated 2, you get your answer fairly quickly. So it is a big day and banner day for high school football in the state of Oklahoma. A ton of Division I offers and talent on the field. Bit wide left formation. Quarterback keeps it, fires across the middle, completes it, keeps going, moving, very much like a sled exercise where you hit it and then you have to go back and drive it again. Key thing with catches for receivers, always keep them feet moving. 1:35 to go here in the first quarter. Guthrie dominating the first quarter so far. They get a turnover, 3 stops, moving once again here before the end of the first. Jet sweep quarterback keeps it, hands off read option. It's going to be a solo quarterback keeper tied up by number 10, dumps him down.
Brings up second down for the Blue Jays. Hollis and James on the stop for the Tigers.
I apologize for being off a couple of times on the markers. It's very hard to read the grass. It's actually sharper resolution on the camera than it is off. So I can barely see the line marker. I think it's just over like 2 yards or so over the 35, so it's going to make it the 37-yard line. It'd be 2nd and 10, so no gain for Guthrie. Off tackle, cuts up, back out, shoots, and is hit. Going to be a small gain, not a massive one, but nonetheless, we may have enough time for one more play before the end of the first quarter.
Brings that third down for the Blue Jays.
Team is huddling, content to literally drain the clock. So that's going to do it. Your score through 1. Guthrie 7, Carl Albert 0. Your Prep Nation of the Week.
And that's the end of the first quarter, Blue Jay fans. With the Guthrie Blue Jays 7, Carl Albert Titans 0. Ladies and gentlemen, if you turn your attention to the center of the field, tonight we recognize some of our Guthrie NFA members who will be traveling to Indianapolis, Indiana in a couple of weeks to compete for national titles. Our first set of FFA members are the Guthrie FFA Livestock Judging Team, who were the state runner-ups last April and qualified to represent Guthrie FFA in the state of Oklahoma at the 93rd National FFA Convention Livestock Judging. Team members are Stephen Sanders, Mason Garrett, Rich Garrett, and Kendra Zubron, who placed 10th overall last April at the state contest. Our next set of FFA members representing Guthrie FFA and the state of Oklahoma are Zach Allen and Old Nigger. These 2 young men are back-to-back state champions in the annual science fair contest, and this year placed 3rd in the nation. Currently, they are in the top 10 of the national finalists and have recently competed in a live interview and application process. We will find out their overall placing during the 93rd National FFA Convention. We want to wish these FFA members luck as they work to bring back home 2 national titles. Fans, please check the media guide code for a student's copy sticker. If you have the sticker in your media guide, please take the guide with you to the apparel table to get your $25 Scooters gift card. Scooters coffee will be sold in the concession stand this football season. Scooters donated both the coffee and the cups. Thank you to Scooters for their generous donation. Be sure to visit our local Scooters store.
All right, it'll be 3rd and 5 at the 42-yard line to start the second quarter for Guthrie. Got to think this is a make or break. Completion, first down, Guthrie.
Pass complete from Caddy to George. Across the middle, right into the 40-yard line. Big run before the game's good for a Guthrie Blue Jay. First down.
Ball appears at the 40-yard line, so it'll be 1st and 10 Blue Jays, just trimming a mere 10 seconds off the clock. Jet formation, fakes the handoff, quarterback keeper. Drives with the shoulder down. Good looking audible play there for Guthrie.
35 to the 33-yard line.
So I believe it's going to be a 7-yard gain for the Blue Jays. We're going to have a lull in action, so it'll be a stop 2nd and 2.
We have an official's timeout on the field.
Trying to figure out what's going on. There's officially an official's timeout. They're conferring with head coach for the Titans. Sure exactly what's going on, to be honest with you. Neither team was set in formation. Neither team was actually moving the ball or about to set on the line. So it may be just simply a clarification on the spot of the ball. So head coach Mike Dunn for the Titans consulted briefly. It's going to remain 2nd and 2. Hands off again, clears the corner, first down and more. All the way down, folks, to the
That's a 17-yard
17-yard
line.
line.
The game is done. First down. Now that was the quarterback paper over right guard. Down across the 15 to the 13. James and Davis on the stop. Brings up second down.
2nd and 6 at the 13-yard line for the Guthrie Blue Jays. Well, they are looking lights out early on here. Wide out formation, strong package to the right. Hands off, misdirection play. Crosses the 10, inside this, closer to about the 9.
Harrison James on the stop. Brings up third down for the Blue Jays.
It is officially 3rd and 2 at the 9-yard line. So a 4th third down for Guthrie. So far, they've converted 3 for 3 on this drive. Let's see if they can do it again. It's going to be very close, but depending upon where they mash him up, it's going to be a first down Guthrie.
Met by a host of Titans.
All right, so another 1st-and-goal for Guthrie. They started at the 4 on Carl Albert's side in the first quarter, now at their own 6 here in the second quarter. Ties him up. It'll be a no gain.
Washington Betty.
2nd-and-goal. You may have lost basically the dimension of a referee's foot. Put it that way. It'll remain 2nd and, for all purposes, 6. Quarterback keeps it, throws, cuts down Guthrie. Little Tebow mania right there, folks. Effective and hard to stop. It is a Guthrie jump out early, 13-0, 8:49 remains in the second quarter. Largest deficit of the season, only deficit of the season for Carl Albert, 14 points. And we have got a 14-0 ball game. Guthrie over Carl Albert. Well, if you were wondering, now you know. The state's number one rated defense is holding the state's number one rated offense to 0 points.
Washington back to receive the kick.
A short squib kick. Didn't expect that, I can honestly say. It's going to give Carl Albert exceptionally good field position. They're going to have the ball at almost the 45-yard line. So I myself would not have done that. You've got all the momentum. It'll be 1st and 10 for Carl Albert at the 48. I definitely would not have thrown them a lifeline on that one. It's a high risk, low reward type scenario. Vaunted offense only having to go 52 yards. I would not like my chances on that one. But nonetheless, Blue Jays bringing the D early on. Barry fakes, throws deep on a loft, wide open. Unfortunately, way overthrown. I mean, it was off the mark. Probably a good 10 yards backwards, landing out of bounds. So, star quarterback so far having some jitters and not his best game. 3rd and 8 after a 2-yard rush. And it is yet another long 3rd down. Quarterback fires. Off the mark again. Keep an eye on one of the matchups, 56 and 42. Either could have got an offsetting unsportsmanlike on that one. So Carl Albert definitely in a fight now. They have been unable to convert 4 touches, and it is going to be a 4th punt. So what do I know, folks? After a scrim kick that gave Carl Albert the ball at the 48-yard line, they get 2 yards total, and it is another punt. So ingenious play by Guthrie. Obviously, coach knows his kids. Deep kick, end over end roll. This one's going to go all the way into the end zone or pretty close to it.
Ball was down inside the 5. Looks like it's spotted right at the 4-yard line. 7:47 left in the first half.
Guthrie will have to move the ball 96 whopping yards. So a tale of 2 punts in every way imaginable. Very similar to the contrast of the teams. You go back and you look at Carl Albert's season tallies. Their lowest score of the game was the first game of the season against Coweta. They scored 38 points, won by 28. After that, it was a 43-20 victory over Muskogee. And then last week's 49-7 win over McGinnis. Every other game, they've had 56, 58, 70, and 76 points scored. So that will give you an idea of just exceptionally good. Wow, backbreaker. That just gives them a plus 15 and a first down and a half. So they're going to go first and 10 now at the 19-yard line. 7:40 remains here in the second quarter.
Now with the quarterback keeper over right tackle, on across the 30. Davis and James on the stop, brings up second down.
And on the flip side, short of a 20-0 victory over Bishop McGinnis and a 20-3 victory over Tuttle, salty team from 4A, it's been 40s, 50s, and 60s for Guthrie as well. 40-0, 69 nothing, 65 nothing, 35 nothing, 68 to nothing. So I mean, it's not like they can't score either. Want to reiterate that they're not just one of those we win 12-7 kind of teams. They have been rolling teams by multiple scores. Closest game of the season, 17-point victory over Tuttle. So they're taking it from the 4 all the way to the 35 now. First and 10, Blue Jays.
6:30 in the first half. Robert with the carry, no gain.
Read very well for Carl Albert, not fooled by the trickeration.
Johnson and James on the stop, brings up second down for the Blue Jays.
Quarterback claps back in the flank. One-on-one becomes three
For the Blue Jays.
Looks like they're going to give him maybe a yard on the play, so 3rd and 9 at the 36-yard line. 5:25 remains here before halftime. I'd like to once again thank Katie's Diner in Guthrie and La Herencia Mexican Restaurant in Midwest City. Timeout called Titans, I believe.
Timeout on the field.
Nope, correction, Guthrie. Down to their only timeout remaining now, so they'll have one in the half. All right, 3rd and 9. Blue Jays. You would almost assume it's got to be a pass, and that's why I would say you never know. Ball is stripped loose. It's going to be a 4th down and a punt. So Carl Albert gets their own break of the game, making that luck, I should say.
Davis on the snap.
So strips the ball loose and then quick on the recovery. Fourth and 13 after the 4-yard loss. So Carl Albert getting the ball back here. They'll have more than enough time to potentially get on the board here before halftime. Kick is going to be short again, but due to the defense right on it, they're going to get the maximum roll. Not going to be bad field position by any stretch for Carl Albert.
Carl Albert takes over, 1st and 10. I need all Pee Wee Little League football players to go to the south end zone. All Pee Wee Little League football players to the south end zone.
All right, so it looks like it's 1st and 10 on the 31. 4:44 remains here in the second quarter. It is a Guthrie Blue Jay 14-0 lead over number 1 rated Carl Albert. Meets him at the line of scrimmage, pushes him up, and we'll have a stop forward progress call.
Short game brings up 2nd down for the Titans.
Titans are putting a lot of emphasis on running in guard. I would start shifting off tackle if it were me. I would do some RPO flicks. I'd do some kind of formation that allows the quarterback and the running back with the potential wide out in play for any of the three to get their hands on the ball. That's their skill set. That's their strong point. Thus far, trying to run it up the middle is not working. And there's your option call that I called for. Gets around.
Robinson, the ball carrier.
So he clears and gets the biggest gain thus far for Carl Albert.
Ball spotted at the 45-yard line. 1st and 10, Carl Albert.
45, 1st and 10, Titans. And a brutal attack.
It's a hard run over left tackle. Williams and Braxton on the stop for the Blue Jays. Brings up 2nd down to the Titans.
4-yard gain, Carl Albert. Option reads. And just plastered him. Oh.
Nick Pena at the stop brings up 3rd down for the Titans.
The only positive on taking a hit like that is he knocked him forward, so he's going to get an extra yard, make it 3rd and 5 at the 50-yard line. But you do not want to see your quarterback take too many hits like that one. I mean, absolutely leveled Sperry. Split formation. Quarterback is going to shuttle pass. Runs into the defender. It's going to be very, very close. He may have it.
They're right at the 45-yard line.
I'm going to call it 1st down. Looks like they're moving the markers, so he gets it.
Braxton and
2:43 remains here. So Titans, all 3 timeouts remain. Clock is not an issue so far. You've got more than enough timeouts to get yourself set. However, you do have to go 35 yards here. Deepest they've been in territory. And another offset. Yep. That one's going to go against Carl Albert, it looks like, once again. So I believe one of the linemen raised their heads up, officially called a false start. So 1st and 15 will push them back to the 45-yard line. And double lateral, this is what I'm talking about. Just can't quite clear the end on it though, but I like the play. You're going to, however, you're going to have to get more landscape.
And on the tackle for the Blue Jays.
Guthrie has exponentially closed gaps on every off tackle opportunity. And even with gains, they've thus far been able to limit them to about 10, 15 yards max. I think that is still the highest gain play was for Sperry converting the initial first down. Solo backfield, quarterback keeper, misdirection the entire way. Not going to work. All right, so now you may want to start considering use of your timeouts. It's 128.
Brings up 3rd down for the Titans.
And so far, yeah, there we go. There's the first one called officially off the mark. 123 remains. You're watching Prep Nation TV. Guthrie 14, Carl Albert 0. Very nice evening climate-wise. Not much of a breeze. Probably about 75, give or take, maybe a little bit cooler. 3rd and 10, Carl Albert. You got to think they're going to go for this just based upon the marking and the yardage alone with the time. 123. Quarterback sets, drops, fires, flicks the wrist, and I think it was already out of bounds. Oh, he did get it. I apologize. There's about 40 different coaches and sideline blockers, and perfectly blocked the view of it. It looked like it was going to lead him out of bounds, and instead it is a first down completion for the Titans, exactly what they needed. Ended up being a 13-yard gain on 3rd and 10. Takes them to the 32-yard line. Quarterback fakes the option, pulled back, dropped back, and hammered for his time.
Darnell, Glover.
Maybe time to call the second one, and the Titans do. So that will leave each team with one timeout remaining. 53 seconds to go. You're watching PNTV coverage of the Class 5A District 2 game of the week. Wide open, touchdown, Carl Albert. For the first touchdown of the season, busted coverage play. Titans make them pay, and it is a 35-yard dime from Kevin Sperry. And touchdown. Only other game that they have even given up a score was against Tuttle with a field goal. So that is only their 9th point on the season. A drive that Carl Albert absolutely, positively had to have.
Unsportsmanlike against the Titans.
That is not good. So the Jays are going to take this on the extra point attempt instead of the kickoff return, which generally leads to better field position by about plus 10 or 15, give or take. However, they're thinking if they can thwart a kick here, force maybe Carl Albert into a 2-point conversion opportunity that gives them multiple ways to still win. So playing the numbers here, however, I don't think it's going to make much difference. I've seen this kid kick them from a lot farther than this. 14-7 is your score. Guthrie 14, Carl Albert 7. 47 seconds remains before halftime. You're watching Prep Nation TV. Well, exactly what Carl Albert wanted. They burned 2 timeouts to get the field position play dialed in. It is a misdirection play that takes advantage of busted coverage. And you got to say that that's exactly how you draw it up. The way you want it to work out, put it that way.
Bell was back to receive a kick for the Blue Jays.
Another good kick for Carl Albert. So if Guthrie's going to score, they're going to have to do some ball moving quickly.
Watching with the return. Just almost to the 40. Flag on the play.
We'll have it to the 39. 41 seconds remains. However, there is a penalty. So we'll see if the call is against Guthrie or Carl Albert. And it will be against Guthrie.
Holding against the Blue Jays.
Forty-one seconds to go before half. Blue Jays get the ball now to 28.
Carry over right guard. Davis and James on the stop. Brings up second down for the Blue Jays.
Guthrie content to keep the final timeout in their pocket. They let about 30 seconds of clock drain in the first quarter, and it looks like they're going to do the same thing here in the second. All right. So they will leave 31 seconds on the clock, drain it, and your score at halftime, Guthrie 14, Carl Albert 7. You're watching Prep Nation TV.
Your Carl Albert Titans 7. We would like to recognize our Little League football players. So if you would please come to the center of the field. We have a first and second grade team, a third grade team, a fourth and fifth grade team, and a sixth grade team. I know some of the coaches, Danny Gibbs, an old man, Kevin Nail, been coaching for 40 years, Jason Herzl, Patrick Mallory, Josh King. Come on out, guys. We have a good group of young men this year. As in every year, it's always a feeder system that goes right into the junior high and high school programs. All right, guys, give me one good Blue Jay cheer. Let's give it up to all our PE football players and their coaches who bring in lots of free time. We appreciate all you guys. Wish you the best in the rest of the season. Thank you for coming. Good luck. Let's hear it from one more time. All right, good job. Now, if you will turn your attention to the 35-yard line, we want to recognize a special group of girls. This is your 2023 first time ever state winner. Here we go. Ladies, you had a great year. It was so much fun watching you from the start to the finish. We played your home track. You gave us lots of excitement. I can't wait till next year. Congratulations again. One more time, your state runner-up, high school softball girls team right there.
Congratulations to the Lady Blue Jays.
Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, we would like to please welcome to the field the Guthrie High School marching band under the direction of Rob Blackburn, Billy Richardson, Michael Ray, and Bill Perry. Additional staff, Jessica Chambers, Coach Griffith, Liz Lerner, Derek Johnson, Connor Cummings, Mackenzie Hopper, Riley Curry, Madison Stevenson, Wayne Hooper, and Lisa Moore.
All right. Scores at the half brought to you by Katie's Diner. Class 6A1, Owasso 28-21, Edmond Memorial. Edmond North 21-17, Yukon. Union 10-10, Edmond Santa Fe. Moore 19-15 over Norman North. All of those games in the second quarter.
I think you need one of those big old 64-inch screens,
Yeah.
So everybody back behind you can watch.
All right, Class 6A2, Deer Creek 37-0, Northwest Classen. Stillwater 35-14, PC West. Putnam City 21-0, Putnam City North. Ponca City 35-0, Capitol Hill. That is at the half. Bartlesville 10-9 over Sand Springs, likewise at the half. And Muskogee leads Booker T. Washington 28-0. Again, all games in the second quarter, unless otherwise noted. The Deer Creek game in Northwest Classen has actually reached the third quarter, so they're a little bit ahead of us here. In Class 5A, Midwest City 35-0 over Ardmore. Coweta 31-0 over Tulsa East Central. Lawton MacArthur 33-7 El Reno. Del City 27-0 Glenpool at the half. Guthrie leading Carl Albert 14-7 at the half, obviously. McAllister 28-14 over Durant. Piedmont 41-0 over Shawnee. And Sapulpa 42-0 over Tulsa Memorial. Those are your final, or at least halftime at the half updates. Class 4A, Wagner leads Tulsa McLean 22-6. Bethany 14-6 over Hera. Poto 21-6 Sallisaw at the half. Woodward 35-6 Cashin. Ada 27-7 Fort Gibson. Those are your Class 4A at the half updates. Now in Class 3, Berry Hill 27-14 Chakota at half. Kingfisher 28-3 over McLeod. Tulsa Central 20-0 over Dewey halftime. And Chandler JV and a McLeod JV matchup 30-12. I'm not sure if that's exactly accurate, but nonetheless, that wraps up your Class 3A updates. Class 2A, Idabel 42-0 Antlers at the half. Tishomingo Mill Creek Co-op 6-0 over Colgate. Spiro 21-15 over Hugo at the half. Kiefer 40-6 Bags at the half. Vian 41-12 Keys Park Hill. Hebner 28-6 Wilburton. Sequoia Tahlequah 33-8 over Roland. Purcell and Washington. This one's a surprise. Washington leads 7-0. And then Eufaula 28-0 over Valiant. Those are your Class 2A at the half updates. Now for Class A, Stroud 50-0 over Mounds. Minko 28-7 Hinton. Panama 21-8 Gore at halftime. Liberty 20-0 over Wewoka. Pacola 38-8 Haskell at halftime. Woodward 35-6 over Cashin. And Central Sallisaw 28-7 over Tallahena. Your halftime presentation by the Guthrie Marching Band. More and more schools are adapting theatrics, drama, and dance presentations in the middle of the band, making it more of a performing arts presentation. And this will now be their third ensemble. First, when they were bringing out the steps, I had no clue what it was because I saw them in three different parts and components. But now I get what they brought them out for. It is a near at capacity crowd here at The Rock, Jesla Stadium in Guthrie, Oklahoma. A feature showcase in Class 5A District 2 action. Winner has all but locked up district. They would have to lose again next week for Guthrie, and the following week, tiebreaker should they beat Carl Albert. And on the flip side, Guthrie, if they give up this game tonight, would have to have Carl Albert lose next week. Otherwise, that would set up a tie based on a head-to-head matchup. So for all practical purposes, Carl Albert can win it tonight, having the extra game. Guthrie would need one more victory to be district champion. And the fourth portion now of the halftime presentation. Class B at the half scores, Velma Elma 32-8 over Wilson at halftime. Weber's Falls 30-0 over Porham. Keota final score 58-0 over Cave Springs, and Dewar 46-6 over Quinton. That game one score away from being a final. Wetumpka 36-20 over Summit Christian. Southwest Covenant 28-0 over Canton at halftime, and Cherokee victorious over Kremlin Hillsdale 52-0. Barnsdall and Olive 46-6. So Barnsdall one score away from clinching, and Arcoma 24-6 over Gans at halftime. Those are your Class B updates at the half. Heading into Class C, it is Buffalo 30-6 over Sharon Mutual at halftime. Copen 22-16 over Watts, and then no scores to report for the other two games on tonight's schedule.
Let's hear it for the Guthrie High School.
All right, a five-part set, leaving no stone unturned. The Guthrie High School marching band. So the story of the game, Blocked kick in the first quarter sets Guthrie up at the 4-yard line, first and goal. 3 plays later, they score. A bobbled ball turns down an opportunity for Carl Albert to score in the first drive in the end zone. Overthrown, drops it, can't hold on to it. 4 punts for Carl Albert. They finally break through near the second quarter after they fell behind 14-0. Took advantage of Guthrie getting a couple of penalties, clawed back into the game, busted coverage, made it a 14-7 score. And Guthrie, once again, the end of the first and the second, chooses to burn the remaining 30 seconds of clock time and does not go for it. Is the first touchdown given up on the season for Guthrie in 7.5 games. In case you're wondering, both kickers made it. We'll see how they do from the 35, in effect making it a 43-yarder. And he nails it again. And so far, these two dudes are 4 for 4. And 5 for 5. And 6 for 6. All right, he's attempting basically the equivalent of about a 58-yarder right here. Looks like it was just wide, so he just missed his first one there. Plenty of length, though. And that one nosedives off to the right. No good. That one he did get. We're down to a minute and 40, a game clock before halftime starts. Full roster out in the end zone doing line drills for Guthrie. Only the 2 kickers thus far for Carl Albert. So read into it what you will. And he hit another one. So, in case you're wondering if Carl Albert is calling upon these kids to come in and kick 48 to 58 yarder, they can kick it.
Blue Jay fans, your stats for the first half. First downs, rushing Carl Albert 6, Guthrie Blue Jays 7. Rushing attempts, Carl Albert 17 for 64 yards, Guthrie 19 for 75 yards. Passing, Carl Albert 54 yards, 4 of 11, total 118 combined for the Blue Jays. 4 of 5 for 42 yards, total of 117 yards of offense. Punts, Carl Albert 3, 46 average, Guthrie 2, 32 average. Fumbles 1 by Carl Albert, which they recovered, and Guthrie fumbled once and recovered. Penalties, Carl Albert 5 for 45, Guthrie 1 for 10. We'd like to thank our tailgate sponsor, Dependent Healthcare.
All righty, folks. First half on the Carl Albert side, second half over here with the Blue Jays. They lead 14 to 7. Short of a busted coverage play, played about as good as physically they probably could. Have to be thrilled to death holding Carl Albert to so few yards. I mean, just stunning. Only 6 first downs for Carl Albert, 64 rushing yards, and 54 passing yards. Total of 118 yards of offense for Carl Albert in the first half. 7 first downs for Guthrie, 75 yards rushing. And then they have 42 yards passing. So that gives them a total of 117 yards. So 1 yard separating the two teams, 118 for Carl Albert, 117. All of that pretty much coming off of the 135-yard pass play for the touchdown. So that ultimately took us from a 14-0 shutout to 14 to 7. Just a reminder, Guthrie declined after winning the coin toss, so they will get the ball to start the third quarter or the second half. Like to thank Katie's Diner and La Herencia Mexican Restaurant. You're watching Prep Nation TV. I would say yes. They are ready for some second half football.
Late goal is back to receive kick.
And kickoff underway. This one's going to go out of bounds, I believe. Yeah.
The kick goes out of bounds. Blue Jays take over.
Two things somewhat surprising. One, obviously, the turnovers. I was surprised that Guthrie did a squib kick and gave Carl Albert the ball at their own 48. I was also surprised that they had an opportunity to run at least one or two plays at the end of the first quarter and second quarter and chose not to do so, burning over about 63 seconds of game clock for both of them. So we'll see if that comes back to be smart, not so smart, or just doesn't apply. It'll be 1st and 10 Guthrie at their own 35-yard line. Wide formation jumbo package for ends up being an offset play. They go the left side and strand everybody on the other side. So they're going to run him right outside.
Brings up second down for the Blue Jays.
One thing with natural grass in Oklahoma is it is not green grass. So you notice the hue, yellow and green, some brown. Very hard to read the line markers on all of the spots, not going to lie. Sometimes I have to just kind of guesstimate because it is very hard after you get through the main numbers. Even after the 40, I can barely see the 30, and I can see portions of the 10. Can't even see the 20. It's tough sledding for both teams, neither having much success, but that is going to take Guthrie to about a 3rd and 4. So officially puts them over the 80-yard marker and rushing now at 81. Big third down here for Carl Albert and Guthrie. And a large part will establish either momentum swing to the Titans or reestablish the Blue Jays for a potential game extending lead drive. Across the middle, just overthrows him. Had him open, just went the wrong angle. They've ran that play probably 4 or 5 times. It's worked every time except that one, and just off the mark on the throw. Interestingly enough, neither kickoff returner for Carl Albert beyond the 25, so they do not expect this one to go over their head. Catches it at the 20, rolls back to the 18, back to the 25, and crosses over the 30, and he'll be down at about the 31-yard line after that tackle. It'll be 1st and 10, Carl Albert, 10:24 to go. First and 10, 31. Misdirection play. Sperry is going to get some yards, but I'm not sure that he gets back even to the line of scrimmage. We'll see if they get him 3 maybe. Looks like they're going to move from the 31 to the 34 almost. Could be the 33 though. It is. So it's a 2-yard gain, 2nd and 8. Quarterback fires right off the flank, passes the 35, misses the tackle, and as you can see, totally in a blind spot here. I apologize. That's the problem with going on the field is there is a blind spot for any time somebody steps into the line of view. Most places just set up inside a press box or up on top of one and just do the 40-40 kind of panoramic view. We try to get it right up close for you. There's not much extra space. The reason why we've been staying stationary tonight instead of moving is it's very hard to get across the players without getting on the field. And I do not want to get a penalty or delay the game from starting. Robinson with a big gain for the Titans that they needed. Going to be a first down. Yeah, correction. 2nd and 5.
Brings it 2nd down.
Ball will be at the 43-yard line. So Titans once again back-to-back drives into Blue Jay territory. Halfback jet sweep. Misdirection, hands off. Halfback is smattered and splattered. And a penalty comes in late. Maybe a face mask call. If so, the second penalty against Guthrie is going to be costly. It extended the drive in the second quarter and potentially doing so again here in the third quarter. So you heard it over the PA system. It's going to be a 15-yarder, a costly penalty. Going to move the ball from the 43 all the way into potential red zone territory. Twenty-seven-yard line, 1st and 10, 8:09 remains. Titans on the move. Momentum clearly shifting toward Carl Albert. Looking to tie this game. Do something that has not happened at any point during the year. Quarterback keeper crosses the. Yep.
Good for 1st and 10 for the Titans.
Nicely done by Kevin Sperry Jr. Just in the process of saying Carl Albert trying to do it hasn't happened all season. More than a score in any game. Tuttle got a field goal. Carl Albert's had a touchdown. Guthrie defense thus far in 30-plus quarters of play, only giving up one score twice. 10 total points. Quarterback over the head, wide back gets it. Ends up actually being a plus yardage scenario. So that one could have been a death knell for an opportunity to drive. We'll see how far. Ooh, he did lose yardage. He goes from the 14 to the 18. So it'd be 2nd and 14 Titans. I may have to quit guesstimating. Usually I can do pretty well within a yard or two. And it is especially hard to see this field because of the color of the grass. Inside of 7 minutes to go. Barry scans across the middle, deflected by Guthrie.
Incomplete for Hayes. Watson with the coverage, incomplete. Brings up third down for the Titans.
So once again, Carl Albert in a third down scenario. It'll be 14 yards needed. They'll need to get just inside the marker of the 5-yard pylon. We're looking all the way over there to the referee's yardage marker. They're going to have to get right to the guy holding it third down right there at about the 5-yard line. Correction, 4-yard line. Going to have another timeout called by Carl Albert. Their third of the game, first of the second half. Your score, Guthrie 14, Carl Albert 7. You're watching Prep Nation TV coverage of the Class 5A District 2 Game of the Week. Quick strike, far left side. He's immediately pushed out of bounds.
Bedford with the tackle.
The only debate's going to be what the yardage is for fourth down and whether or not the Titans elect to kick the field goal or go for it. They're a little bit slow on getting the yardage done, and I'm trying to hedge my bets on guesstimating 4th and 6th, so they make it to the 10-yard line. It does appear that they're going to go for the points. So this automatically will put us in a funky scenario here to where it'll take 2 scores to topple. And here it goes.
The field goal is good. Carl Albert.
Second field goal of the season that Guthrie has given up. First game, they've given up double digits or 2 scores, though. 14-10, Guthrie over Carl Albert. You're watching PNTV. Get you a little extra footage here of some warm-up. See this kind of thing all over the sidelines all throughout the game. So back-to-back drives for the Titans. They score. They have also put 10 on the board uninterrupted and unanswered. So a game of streaks. 14-row start to the game for Guthrie. 10-0 since for Carl Albert. Game has considerably tightened up. 6:33 remains here in the third quarter. Fetches it around the goal line, comes up 15. Not going to be much of a gainer. So Guthrie losing the field position battle here in back-to-back quarters now. They will start deep in their own territory. 6:28 remains. It'll be 1st and 10 at the 16-yard line. Sorry about that. Got a yawn. Don't know if Carl Albert has settled into a groove and no longer a little antsy, if they are perfectly executing defensive schemes, but they have been able to stymie. Yeah, they wanted to bust loose on that play. Ricochets off the outstretched hands of one of the linemen. Obviously, number 80 trying to flare deep to get that one. So far, Guthrie hasn't had anything major as far as gains. Everything has been pretty measured, methodical, and short to mid-range gains for both teams, exception being Sperry's 35-yard pass. Tell you how important it was. That ended up being 35 and Carl Albert's 45 passing yards in one play. Another exceptionally good defensive stand for Carl Albert. They've got now Guthrie on 3rd and possibly 10.
Johnson on the tackle.
So a tale of two halves. Exactly what was happening to Carl Albert in the first half is happening to Guthrie in the second half, being stymied, forced into long-range 3rd downs. They actually lose 4 yards on that play. 3rd and 14 attempt coming up. Quarterback rolls, throws, waffles, and wobbles the ball. And it is going to be a punt deep in probably the end zone for Guthrie now. It'll be 4th and 14 at the 12-yard line, so the kicker's going to have to do this one all the way from his own backed up end zone. Couldn't script it better for Carl Albert. They've got a guy lined up right at the 40, 45. He's just now pulled back close to the 50 even marker. So based upon the previous kicks, I do not see this one going over his head, but that is exactly what Guthrie's going to need is a misdirection kick that rolls end over end and just keeps rolling. Bad kick again, goes very high. That one's barely going to make it to 45-yard line. So great field position for Carl Albert. 46 will be 1st and 10, Titans.
With 5 minutes and 30 seconds left for the third quarter.
All right, this is the ball game right here, in my estimation. Momentum has clearly shifted. It's favoring Carl Albert. If they're able to get a 3rd score on the board and take the lead, I don't see them losing it. Guthrie's going to have to make a stand, get the ball back, turnover option play by Sperry, runs far outside, and he is going to be worse for wear.
Brings up 2nd down for the Titans.
Six-yard gain for the Titans, though, 2nd and 4. Seeing larger substitution packages now for Guthrie. 4 players coming in. I think they're anticipating a rush. Forced the Titans to burn a timeout. I don't think they wanted to do that.
Timeout on the field.
So coach saw something he didn't like, quickly got a substitution package in, forces Carl Albert to be the first team to burn 2 timeouts in each half now. So they have 1 remaining. Keep an eye on that. Could be significant, maybe nothing. But it's 4:47 to go in the 3rd quarter. Guthrie 14, Carl Albert 10. You're watching PNTV coverage of the Class 5A District 2 Game of the Week. you'll want to catch this part, folks, because people are getting excited. All right. That wholesome helping hand there. We've got a couple of guys over here trying to throw up jump shots for throwing the ball, so clearly not on the football team for a reason. Carl Albert successful, I believe, converting the sticks. We'll see just by how much. It was second and fourth of 48. 12-yard gain makes it first and 10. And a penalty against Carl Albert. It'll be a false start on the tight end, number 12 slot.
Benjamin on the tackle. Second down. Pass complete for Washington. Don Moser on the tackle. Brings up third down for the Tigers.
Another large package for Guthrie on substitution defensively. And another penalty. Clapping on the sidelines for the Titans, so I think they are convinced this is going against Guthrie. Berry met with resistance once again.
Official timeout. ball carrier for the left guard. Oswald on the tackle. Brings that first down. Ramos to the ball carrier over the backfield for a line. Brings up fourth down for the Titans.
Field goal is up. This one is off the mark. No good. The Blue Jays get the stop they need, and then they follow it up with a first down.
Harris on the stop. And the gain is good. But get to the point. Travel at the quarterback trooper. Not to the 35-yard line. Harris on the stop. Brings up the second down. And that's the end of the third quarter, those things. The Blue Jays.
All right. 3 quarters in the books. Guthrie 14, Carl Albert 10. All right. 12 minutes to decide who wants it more and who is the number one rated team in Class 5A. Will it be number 1, Carl Albert, number 2, Guthrie? Game of momentum shifts and swings. First 2 quarters, all Guthrie, 14-0 until the very end of the play. They gave up a touchdown on a busted coverage. And ever since then, Carl Albert has had most of the momentum on their side. I say most because they missed a field goal after hitting one to score 10 consecutive points, and it is 14-10. I don't know why people do that, but they do. They know the camera's here, step right in front of it, so we get to see their bald head. First and 10 at the 40-yard line for Guthrie. It has been a game of inches in every sense of the word, inches and trenches. Neither team able to really dominate. Closest we saw was the first quarter and three quarters, all but the final minute and a half of the second quarter. Guthrie clearly in control, clearly imposing their will, stymieing and negating all of the plays, passing and runs, and then one huge play swung the pendulum. And now Carl Albert battling at Guthrie here for 5A supremacy. We're in week 8 action since Carl Albert played in week 0, which I hate that phrase. Nonetheless, since they played an extra game, they will get their bye next week. So they will literally play 9 games and get a break and then play one final game. I was unaware that they hadn't already ruled because they already put first and 10 on the scoreboard. Quarterback keeper, beautifully done by number 33. Nice tackle, young man. Have a player favoring an ankle here. We'll have an injury timeout on the field. 10:52 remains. Second and 9, 41. Another short yardage gain for Guthrie.
45-yard line. Williams with the tackle. Brings up third down from Guthrie.